Listen up, you blundering fools. It's time for the Cracktastic Plastic Podcast. Get all the toy talk your evil hearts could desire from these nincompoops. Jason, Corey, Elgin, and Spooty.
Yo, Joe, and welcome to the Cracktastic Plastic Podcast, where a punk rock band of brothers get together to talk about one of our shared loves, toy collecting. And we're here to celebrate how these little colorful pieces of plastic can transform you into a little kid again. If this is your first time listening to or watching on YouTube, my goodness, this is awesome. We got your attention. Thank you so much for tuning in. However you got here, we sure appreciate it. There's so many things out there to take your attention, so pretty awesome of you to share your time with us.
It's very rad of you.
Totally radical. You're going to learn real quick, besides our cool, hip language, we're also not...
You're going to learn.
we're not toy experts.
You're done learning.
We like to call ourselves enthusiasts because we're going to get some shit wrong. It's going to happen.
Mostly words.
Right, a lot of words. So let's introduce the band, your fellow podcast linguists. On lead vocals and rhythm guitar, he's our real American hero. It's Corey Kenny, folks.
What was that word you said really dumb in the last episode?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
On vocals and lead guitar and a true master of the universe, it's the quiet one. It's Thunder Punch Aldrin.
He's punching for anyone that's not watching this.
Hi, or Elgin Arnie, as some people call him.
His mom calls him that.
She does.
They're
actually.
very formal in his family.
She's like, Elgin Arnie, please come downstairs. Dinner is served.
Next up on the bass guitar, he's more than meets the eye. He's our Transformers guy. It's Spooty.
Hey.
Hi.
Hey.
Hello. And on drums, it's me. They call me Jason, and I'm here to talk about my love of Transformers and all things super awesome. Dudes, BBTS, what's that stand for, Corey?
Big Bad Toy Store.
You know it does. And the next time you want to visit BBTS, use our affiliate link, bbts.cracktasticplastic.com, and it'll take you to the same Big Bad Toy Store you know and love. And doing it that way helps them know that we sent you there. So edit those bookmarks one more time, bbts.cracktasticplastic.com.
Brian Boitano's.
Too late. We have a very nostalgic show today. And I mean, I know they all are, but this one, folks, forces us to look back at something that no longer exists. Did you have a favorite toy store that you went to as a kid that has since closed down? A Toys R Us, a KB, independent toy store. Today we're going to be looking back and sharing our memories on these now closed stores. Boo. But Elgin's going to tell us about a store that's open later, and that's going to be really awesome, so stick around for that. Okay?
Okay. I wasn't sad inside in this episode.
Don't yell at me.
Again.
Don't yell at me. I'll tell you about the store.
You can also follow us on Twitter at Cracktastic Pod and on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, and Patreon at Cracktastic Plastic. All that can be found at cracktasticplastic.com. That's our website.
Sure is.
And while you're surfing those interwebs, be sure to stop by our other sponsor, toyhacks.com, for all your repro labeled needs. They have an armory where you can get some cool 3D accurate printed cool ass weapons for your toys and sticker them up. It's great. Toyhacks.com. Yeah, and we also do this caption contest, don't we, Corey?
Yep. $5.
Make you hollers. What?
Yeah, come to the place where we do that, and then write a funny caption underneath the picture that says "caption contest time," and actually write something funny and not lame and stupid that's not going to get chosen, and then you'll win $5.
That's true.
And then you can spend it on something that's at least $5 at
Toy Hacks.
Toy Hacks. That's where it is. At Crack Hacks.
No.
Crackhouse.com.
That is not it.
Dead inside.
But right now, let's talk about what toys we've picked up lately in a segment we call Thrill of the Hunt.
Listen up, you fools. If anyone knows more about searching for the most unique items in the world, it's me, Cobra Commander. In my reign as Cobra's leader, I have acquired countless items, but those meddling Joes have foiled my attempt at worldwide domination over and over again. But it's the thrill of the hunt that fuels my superb rule of Cobra. Pay attention to my loyal subordinates as they tell you of their latest exploits and acquisitions. It's the thrill of the hunt, Cobra!
All right, Corey Canny. That's close to how he plays the guitar. Yeah.
So I'm getting to the point now in my collecting where I'm just about got everything that I had set out to get, and I don't know if I've said that before, but like,
And that being the toys you had as a
the
child.
toys I either had as a child or like really, really, really wanted.
That you remembered that
That
you
I
wanted.
remembered that I really wanted. So now I've moved on to like
Classifieds?
upgrading figures. No, not classifieds. I got a whole extra. Anyway, no, like I've gotten to the point where like I've got most of it, and so now it's just like, okay, well, there's a nicer version of this one out there somewhere, so I'm gonna upgrade. So first of all is Firefly here. I got him complete. He was about $60, and with his phone, he's generally closer to like $90 to $100. So I was happy to find him on a Facebook auction or a Facebook claim sale
For this little guy.
Yeah, for that little guy, 60. Yeah. Unless you go to what's that one store in Ohio where everything's overpriced and he'd be 110,
We don't
Toys
120.
that
the time
time
forgot.
forgot.
Yeah, the Toys Time Forgot. Yeah, he'd be 30% over market at Toys Time Forgot. And then Bat, this one I got on Transformer Land for 50 or 55, and generally they're about 75 in nice
He's in
shape.
pretty good shape.
And he's nicer than the one that I've got. It's the one that the other one that I had. I'm not an army builder, so I have one Bat, two at the moment, but I'm gonna sell the other one. The one that I had a repro chest sticker thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's still like lenticular, but it doesn't shift like the original one does. And so I was like, all right, cool. Well, $50, and then I'll sell the other one that I have for still $50 because that's like,
Because you can.
yeah. And then this guy, this is Clutch, and this is the version 1.5 Clutch with the swivel arms, and so I brought the straight arm that he's replacing. But there's two main differences. There's three main differences. Number one is the shoulder construction is different. Number two is the arms swivel at the elbow joint, and number three is he's got a smaller dick. So you can check those out. But I've never been a fan of the straight arms just because they don't move as much as the swivel arms, and they didn't have the cool swivel arm battle grips logo on the packaging. So I have been going through and collecting the swivel arm Joes that I want. I'm probably not going to get all of them because I don't really care about most of them, but Clutch was a favorite. And that one is in really nice shape. Like, the paint is awesome. The color is awesome. There's no cracks, no anything like that. And I think I got them for like $15 or something. So
Yeah.
I'm happy with that. So then I'll sell straight arm Clutch at some point soon. And then
That's crazy they had the bicep swivel back that far.
yeah,
That's
1983 is when they when they first, like 82 they introduced the 3 3/4 Joes with the original 16, and then 82.5/83 when they came out with the second wave. They reproduced all the original ones, and then the next wave of 83s also. And yeah.
Are the straight arm ones rarer? Or are they more sought after?
I don't. It depends on who you ask, and it also depends on what figure. Like,
Okay.
I think for the most part, pretty much all of the swivel arm ones are more desirable because of the swivel arm, like strictly because of that. I think that but then the original 82 run, like, people want that because it's
Sure.
the first ones.
That's what I think. Yeah.
So like probably the most expensive straight arm is Cobra Commander, the mail away Mickey Mouse Cobra Commander.
Yeah.
And he'll fetch anywhere, depending on condition, anywhere from $150 to like $600.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Jeremy, I don't know if you guys remember, but when he was on the show, he talked about his Mickey Mouse Cobra Commander that he got from I think he got it from a guy in Canada. Like, I saw it and I wanted it, but I didn't really have all my money was tied up in the market at the moment. And
Right.
Yeah.
so
Fairway
I
or
couldn't afford it
Hy-Vee.
at the time, but I sent Jeremy a message. I'm like, dude, there's a Mickey for $70 on Facebook, and so he got it, and like that's the cheapest Mickey Mouse Cobra Commander I've ever seen, and probably will ever see, other than like someone having one at a garage sale that doesn't know that it's what it is and what it's worth. But he got hate mail from people about it. Like, he was getting messages, like private messages on Facebook from people like telling him like giving him shit and pissed off at him because he's ripping this guy off. And Jeremy's just like, it's how much he asked for, and that's how much I'm paying. You're just pissed that you didn't get to it first.
Sure.
But no, the I'm not a big fan of the original, like the straight arms. So, like I said, like some of them are a little more desired. Like Scarlet is one not because of her rarity, but because of how like her crotch breaks. And then Stalker, there was a big problem with certain green plastics back then, and Stalker is like the worst one. His hands, his shoulders, his thumbs, they're always breaking. His heels are always blowing out. Like, to find a good, like, mint-looking Stalker figure, straight-arm Stalker, you're going to pay $100 for him easily. And so yeah, but like, I'm not a big collector, but I like I like all the characters, but there's only a few of them that I actually want. And then it was my birthday, and Elgin got me this present. This is from Thunder Punch Elon. I don't think you forgot how to spell his name.
It happens a lot.
I'm going to open this with my knife and hopefully not ruin the packaging.
Weirdly.
And this is oh, hey, what's this? Oh. I know what this is. Oh, you fucking badass. Dude. That's
Look
so
at
rad. I don't collect Motu stuff, and I'm so happy that I got this because I keep talking about how much I love the Masterverse and every other iteration of Beastman, and this is so good.
So that's probably the ultimate version of Beastman. It's the new Eternia version
It's so
of Beastman.
good. And he's got that fucking
got-
animal head hood thing. Oh, thank you. That's
Welcome.
badass.
There's even a female beast woman on the back on the
Oh,
artwork.
seriously? So that they can mate?
Top left.
Oh, yeah. Are they going to make a figure?
Who knows?
That would be awesome if they did. That is so cool. I'm excited. I'm excited to have that in my arsenal. I have now officially 5 Motu things. I have a battle cat, and I have what's the Panther? There we go.
Yep.
I got Battle Cat and Panther and He-Man and Skeletor, and now Beastman, who's the best character, at least like aesthetically, physically. Like, he was always the best looking one of all of them, I thought. And this is awesome. This is amazing.
That deluxe version is probably the best that they put out.
That is so good.
And you can swap out, like, if you don't want
Yeah.
him to be furry, he's got his regular kind of vest there as well. if
That
you
is
want
so
to
cool.
swap that. He's got a giant club as
I
well.
can't wait
so.
to like see what's under that loincloth.
Okay.
This is badass. Thank you. That's
Welcome.
awesome. I love it. Yeah, it was my birthday. I had a good birthday until it was shit when I got sick, and yeah, it was good.
That makes it better.
Yeah.
All right, Elgin.
All right, well, I got a bunch of Moti stuff.
What?
Shockingly, I know.
Motu? What's that?
It's a brand of toys.
Oh.
So I got this Digitino, who's actually part of the Rulers of the Sun figure first. His little harness thing glows in the dark, which
Yes.
is the
What
best.
a great name.
Which is the best. He actually solves problems through math.
He looks like Vinny Barbarino.
Yeah, and he's got kind of sad eyes. Like,
Yeah, you can relate, Corey.
If you don't know who Vinny Barbarino is,
Google it.
it was John Travolta's character in Welcome Back, Kotter, and he looks exactly like Vinny Barbarino.
his weapon is like a little claw thing, like a staff, which is like a new sculpt. That's not a redo of anything really. But the glow in the dark really it's pretty bright.
One of those
once you charge it
grabbers
up.
for short people.
Exactly. Yeah. It's like he's got to get stuff down from the top shelf.
What's his name?
Digitino.
Digitino.
Yeah.
Titorino.
Like digits and then
Yeah.
Tino.
Digitino, because he's mathy.
Yeah. He's big into, he majored in calculus
Love that.
at wherever he's from.
know
my rat tail.
A little bit.
Yeah, it's like a rat tail slash
like a duck,
dovetail,
yeah.
very like ducktail, like very 50s hairdo. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Anyway, he's a good guy for the Rulers of the Sun. He's part of their. There's only really one bad guy. That's Pighead is the only like villain. Like everyone else is like good, which is weird.
Very lopsided.
Yeah. Anyway, and then I picked up the Tila and Zor 2-pack from Big Bad Toy Store. That's an exclusive for them that they put out. I have a Zor, which is the Falcon, a vintage one of these, and I did a side by side comparison with it when I did the video of this. But they're pretty flop. The wings are pretty floppy, but they do have an action
like
feature where you can actually make it fly,
Yeah.
which the vintage did as well. Which I'm glad they added that in and
That looks
have them
good.
fly around. The colors are great.
Sorceress.
That's what the sorceress turns into when she's out of Castle Grayskull. It came with
That's
a Tila, a resculpt of Tila, a different head sculpt, and some different weapons, some kind of these golden yellowish colored weapons, and then she has a kind of a repaint as well. They gave her the ponytail. That's kind of a 2000X version of her. It came with her other
mad.
harness. Yeah, she's a little ticked off. Her shield and harness, which are the same, but the weapons she's holding are the newer weapons that she came out with. The staff is the same, but it's recolored, and then the sword is the first time she's actually had a sword in the Origins line. That was, like I said, a 2-pack from Big Bad Toy Store. And then I finally opened up the Wave 3. I think in the videos, I started calling him Wave 4 because that's what I thought it was. And then I actually do some research, and it's actually Wave 3. And the only one from Wave 3 that I had before was Merman, but I finally got the rest of them, also from Big Bad Toy Store. I had to pre-order them. It took like almost a year to get to them. But glad to finally have them in the collection. First, I got Zodak, the Cosmic Enforcer, who was part of the original line when it first came out for the vintage series. He was supposed to be a bad guy, but then they turned him neutral. He was supposed to be. That's why he looks like his feet are the like bad guy feet, and his arms are. So it's basically like the Skeletor feet and stuff. But they ended up making him a neutral character to kind of oversee good and bad.
It's like a three-toed sloth.
Yeah, those the boots. That's what every villain had, basically.
Yeah.
That was to show that they were different than a good guy.
It's got those Funko Pop eyes, though.
Yeah.
Nope. I'm going to put pause in there. There he is.
So I also got Roboto.
Domo erogato.
Yeah, check out our TikTok on that one. He is. I did the comparison of this and talked about it. He's missing his heart. On the vintage one, he has also more gears in his back, but he has a heart in there that like is jammed in between the gears.
Your voice cracked a little bit when you said heart. It's very touching.
It's sad. I talked about it a lot in length in the video that it's very disheartening to pun intended to see him without it, because I still have my vintage one, and I remember playing with it and like looking inside is like, this robot has a heart. It's like as a kid you're like,
It's the secret.
That's like, yeah, and you could kind of see it only if you looked from the side. You couldn't see it straight on, but only if you looked off to like through his armpit, basically.
Yeah, there's way more gears in the vintage one.
Yeah, they had basically 2 more in the back and then his heart, but it's kind of sad that there's none in there. I know on the new, they're doing a mini comic version, and they just put like a painted heart on the front of him.
Oh.
It looks kind of lame, but I'll probably end up getting it.
Yeah.
Because I'm a completionist. He also came with his standard weapons, the double laser blaster and the double axe. So you can pop out from his hand instead and use those weapons. And then finally got She-Ra. And then So she has a soft goods cape. Her hair is not actual hair; it's just the plastic. On all the vintage ones, it was actual doll hair that they had on all these.
That glitter crown thing.
And then the crown is supposed to swap around so she can go into fight mode, but it doesn't really work that well. So I just keep it like that. But it's all sparkly and kind of the same, sort of the same colors as the vintage one. But it's actually my first She-Ra figure.
Finally got her.
Yeah, outside of like Masterverse, but yeah. So that finishes up Wave 3.
So you're
Way
caught up.
back. No, I still have 2 left. From Wave 4, I have I have Triclops
That's right.
and regular Stratos, not late night Stratos. Those are the only 2 that I think I still have to catch up to where I'm at now. Because they were like in Wave. I think the last wave they put out was like Wave 13 or 14.
Oh, geez.
So these are supposed to come out like in late 2020 or 21. It was like right in COVID times, and yeah, they just didn't show up in the stores. Had to pre-order them, so that's all I have.
Awesome.
Lots of Motu.
Spooty. I have stuff. Still.
Do you?
I do.
Totally.
Couple
does.
things. I got this sweet ass.
Yeah, you do.
Knockoff. Little Jeep.
What is that?
Truck thing.
Don't grip it too hard.
I mean,
Oh, sweet stand.
I think
Yeah, it came with the stand.
Corey could even transform this one. So
You think? I bet I break
Yeah.
it. Let me see it.
please don't.
Don't break my bootleg toy.
Yeah,
But not normal for a knockoff to have
it
the
actually
Autobot
has the
symbol.
Autobot symbol on it, which is like a pretty legit one. But it's definitely not.
Let's contact our lawyers.
Yeah.
Happy birthday. Nope, can't do that. You're going to get flat.
Where'd you get this?
On the eBays,
Mm-hmm.
where I get most of my things.
Did you look like at the MicroMasters to see if he's based on?
I think he's based off of a GoBot.
The shape of this wagon looks like something we draw when we were kids.
Uh-huh.
You know?
It does.
Looks like something Elon Musk designed a year ago.
Wow.
And then I also got kind of floppy head
happens.
Rampage. Ooh, one of the Predacons make up Predaking.
So that's 3 now?
So I have 3, and he has guns.
It's exciting.
Just find the hands and feet. That'll be fun.
Love those colors. Predacons.
Yeah, flip his head back up.
It's still not as bad as some GoBots. This knockoff one.
Yeah.
It's really does look like something that a 4-year-old drew. That's
I
awesome.
mean, maybe that's where it came from. I don't know.
Maybe.
And then on my mission to get all the Muppet Legos, I got the Swedish Chef.
And how
Elgin,
does
do
he
your
sound like?
best. Do your best Swedish Chef impression, Elgin.
Oh, I do one.
I don't know. Just do
I sure don't.
do the best you can.
That's-
I'd have to think of it for a while.
Corey
I'm so
knows.
disappointed. I can't. No, I can't do the Swedish Chef.
You. Since when have you chickened out of anything?
Speaking of chickens, all right. So no,
that's
so
all
like
I have.
I was laying in bed with my wife one day. Well, we weren't married back then. Back then we were living in sin, and
With the
she,
safety pin.
yep, I was half awake, and I rolled over like, "Hey, are you awake? If you're awake, make a noise like a chicken." And she goes, "Bort,"
Bort.
which is a noise that the Swedish Chef
Oh
makes.
yeah, that's right.
Bort, 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 bort,
There it
bort.
is.
Hey, there you go. That's,
Me, and that's Beaker.
yeah, that's him.
Which they're not. And
That's different.
yeah,
It's different.
yeah. No, Beaker doesn't help with the.
That's the-
chef.
So
That's
Jess
the,
is not good at impressions, is what you're
No,
saying.
she's not good at making chicken noises.
Now I can't wait to see Jess again.
Yeah, she gets mad at me.
I assume
A lot.
Just in general.
Well, I got a few things too. I had my pile of loot come in. I grabbed a couple here. I'm really excited. I didn't know that I'd be excited, but
It was a good video.
yeah, there's a Armada coming into the Legacy Evolution.
I figured I was going to
Line.
hate it.
Well, the Armada toy line was just.
They're just going to make me sad.
Well, no, it's like it's just they're not. It's not a great cartoon, and the toys aren't good, but then they kind of are, and like just
It's kind of okay.
they're kind of good, but they're not. Anyway, I
Kind
did,
of like the Communist Manifesto.
and I didn't. I collected a lot, almost all of Armada when they came out. It was a big jumping back in, one of the many jumping back in points. So I have a lot of them, but I didn't. I never.
Have you thought
loved-
about Have you
never
thought
lo-
about selling the ones that you don't love to fund ones that you do?
No,
No?
I
Okay.
just want to keep them all.
Still loves all of them.
I love them all. I don't. They just weren't cool.
Yeah,
There's
they
a bunch
don't.
of them that are not great.
But like I didn't know that I had an affinity for them. I knew I just collected them and I liked them, but I didn't know that I would have nostalgia for them at any point in my life. But then they put out a few Armada ones. There's going to be some more, like the big Primes coming out soon. But here's Hot Shot. There was a universe version of him that came out, and I don't know, just excited. I don't think I could watch the cartoon again. It's not good. And it's the best of the Unicron trilogy for sure, but anyway. And then you remember the G1 I got a while back of Skullgrin, but he came out again as a deluxe in Legacy. Got him. His horns are tied together right now, but I'm excited to get him out. Excited to do some photos with the original. But yeah, it's really neat that, anything that comes with a skull head is pretty cool in my book.
True.
So, happy to get him. And then, so as I alluded to in last episode, I was really working hard on trying to get this toy, not let FOMO destroy me. And
See, this is also a retool. It's not the same.
yeah, totally new mold.
I like his
Hot
headphones.
shot. Yeah, and he's got a visor. It's cool. Comes down.
Oh no, they look like headphones. So
And so I was excited to pick up, as you know, the rule of see a Starscream, buy a Starscream. And so I had to walk away from him a couple times because he's a lot. But I'm like, oh my gosh. And I have this version. He came out in Cybertron, just Supreme Starscream. So I have him, and he's really great, and I love it. But like, I just in my head, I forgot there was a toy color version, a recolor version of him. And once I saw him in the case too, just seeing him behind glass, you're like, oh, that's prettier than I remembered. But yeah, eventually I got it. So it's a Platinum Edition, Year of the Snake, Supreme Starscream, and he's pretty cool. He still has his Cybertron little discs that pop out these weapons. Got his planet key over here to whip out this gun that's got a missile in it, and this planet key goes up here, which shoots out this sword out of that thing there, and he's got a crown, wears a little hat, and he does have sound, but I don't have batteries in him. I hadn't got that far yet. Yeah, maybe. But he's a chunky boy. He's a big boy. Pretty excited to have him and pass him around. But yeah, big guy. For being so big, he doesn't have super crazy transformation. It's pretty simple, but it's fun. He's not quite a Titan, but it's a big toy.
does he look cool in alt mode also, or is he kind of lame?
It's
in
a
alt mode?
Cybertronian jet, so it's way kind of like triangle.
Like the wedge type.
Find
the
out when I
wedge.
transform him.
Yeah, you're gonna hear it soon. But yeah, just having that red and blue, those toy colors or anime or whatever you want. It's just neat seeing them in that version,
The animation
that
colors.
big, so great.
I like that. I like that metallic kind of red. Like the
Yeah.
the red isn't just red. It's like it's metallic.
And some of
And
the
it looks
blue
really
is too.
good. Yeah.
Yep.
It's cool.
It's a lot. Like the red is really pronounced though. It looks cool.
Me likey. Supreme Star Scream.
Supreme. SS.
Nope. But maybe.
SS.
Okay, so
Yes.
let's get on to our topic at hand. Oh, man, we love toy stores, don't we?
Yeah.
Like a
course.
lot.
Yeah.
We've been going to them for a long time.
Yeah.
Who doesn't?
I know, but guys, sometimes these toy stores they fall on hard times.
Mm-hmm.
They can't always keep them books balanced, and sometimes they gotta close. That's a bummer.
Yeah.
It's because people like us weren't around back when they were trying to stay afloat.
Corey, you were sad on the wrong episode. You should have been sad. on
No,
the
I'm still sad.
okay.
now.
Oh, I'm
Double,
yeah.
doubly sad.
oh man, I'm sorry, buddy.
No, I'm not sad anymore. I was really.
Do you guys have any not big box, more any independent-y toy stores that you remember, have memories from,
No.
where you may have bought toys?
No.
Got
No.
toys. They really weren't
Not
a lot.
not like they are now.
Not
Yeah.
like now.
Like the stores we went to on tour. Nothing like that.
Yeah, I mean, there wasn't really that I know of, but we were also kids, so
Sure.
we may not necessarily have been on our radar. But like, there didn't seem like there was a whole lot of reselling of old toys, other than like you find
garage
them at garage
sale,
sales and
Right.
Flea
the
markets
occasional
and-
flea market. But like, I genuinely don't think I ever actually went to a flea market when I was a kid either. It's just not something we did.
Well,
I actually did.
You grew up
Right.
next door to the biggest flea market in the state, so
that's true.
Did you go when you were a kid? To
Oh
watch
yeah, because we were kids, we'd run around and
Sure.
get sick on funnel cakes, and
Yeah.
you know.
go get in trouble. And
But I don't have a memory of buying toys as a kid there, only as an adult. But I know we went because that's just what else is there to do in that little
in
town.
what year?
So
Meth and murder.
my grandparents,
Drink.
who both passed away now, they lived.
Such a sad episode.
Yes, they used to live in New Jersey. They actually moved out there when I was born for a job that they had.
To get away from you.
Yeah, they're like, that kid got born. Let's get out of. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but we used to visit them every summer, and they lived in Trenton, New Jersey, and we used to go. There was a flea market out there that we would actually go out to and just walk around. That's whisper quiet over there.
God. It is the loudest toy ever.
You talk all the shit you want about New Jersey, but they brought us the fat sandwich, and there's
Dude.
nothing in the world like that.
I just told us about
there's
the
a-
fast sandwich not 2 weeks ago.
I have a lot of good memories out there because I spent basically a week out there with my grandparents and then during the summer. And like I said, they would take us out to a flea market out there. But at that time, I think I was only really collecting like baseball cards.
Cool.
I
So-
remember collecting baseball cards.
And they would sell like big trays of them. Like
Yeah.
you could almost get like a box,
Yeah.
the rectangular boxes full of them.
Do you still have baseball cards?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Does
I
he?
got
Yeah.
boxes of them. I
Nice.
got pretty much everything I collected
might-
still.
Nice.
Like
You might
I
look
could
into that.
possibly be a hoarder, but that hasn't really been diagnosed yet.
Because you buy it all and then you leave it at your parents' house.
Yeah, pretty much.
So
It's not mine.
Yeah. I have all the baseball cards up. They're boxed away. But anyway, I did end up buying 2 G.I. Joes out there one year.
yeah.
The two that I always talk about, the
Yeah.
Annihilator and then the astronaut guy,
Yeah.
whatever his name is.
I can't remember.
There's a lot of names.
Cosmic guy.
Brownie.
Yeah, Cosmic Brownie. Delicious Cosmic Brownie.
Yep.
But I bought those, the guy with the zip cord thing
Yeah.
and the rocket pack
And the helicopter thing.
and the
Yeah.
helicopter.
Annihilator is a cool looking figure.
He is. I remember going to like a big box store. It was probably like a Walmart, maybe. I don't remember. It was one where I was walking down an aisle and saw it
Yeah.
there, and I was like, "Those look cool," so I bought them. But I did go to flea markets out there. So other than like big box stores,
No, I'm almost positive I never went to one.
So KB,
KB, yeah.
did you ever
Oh, yeah.
remember going to those as a kid?
I remember going to KB. Not like we didn't.
No.
We lived in Fairfield, and like Fairfield was not close to any big towns, And especially back in the 80s, like there were no direct routes to any big towns. Like if you wanted to go to Des Moines, you had to drive through all of the small towns and take all of the lefts and rights to get to Des Moines. There was no like, here's a big 4-lane that gets you to Des Moines in, an hour and 15 minutes. Like it was a 3-hour drive to get there from Fairfield when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And it was like a 2-hour drive to Iowa City. There was no direct way to get to Iowa City either. And so like it was like going to places like that was really rare for me. I probably went to a KB like maybe 3 times. And I think that was probably in Iowa City was like the only place that had one. And I only remember going to Toys R Us once as a kid.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we had in Marshalltown. At the mall there, they had a KB store in there. I remember going to it quite a bit with my mom because my dad worked second shift, so he was never really around. So she would take me out there, but she would never, because we were poor. Because my dad worked 2 jobs. It was like I'd never get anything. She'd just be like, hey, can I get this? And she'd be like, oh, maybe, and would never buy it. So like maybe always meant no.
Yeah.
But I remember walking down aisles and stuff and like looking at, when the Boglins came out and like they were like freaky and it was like this like troll thing in the box.
Yeah.
And it just, and it was just toys just like up, like,
Yeah.
to the ceiling.
Floor to ceiling.
Yeah, it was crazy.
I mean,
like,
I see pictures on Facebook and Instagram all the time of
It's
like
ridiculous.
remember when type
It's
things.
fun to
and
look
there's
back, isn't it?
Yeah.
Old
Hundreds
store shelves.
Yeah.
of things. Like these toys that we buy are not rare.
Yeah.
Like there
They
were hundreds
produced
of
so many
thousands
of
of
them.
these things produced, but
But a lot of them went to landfills.
a lot of them went to
it's-
landfills or are still buried in the backyard. And
Yeah.
But I mean, I would ask, hey, can I have this kind of? But I ended up, getting it for Christmas later. But you want it at that moment.
yeah,
Yeah.
And I never really had enough allowance to like buy anything there. So it was, I'd always go in there and like look at stuff. It's like, hey, I'm gonna look. Anytime we go to the mall, it's like, because really the mall was the place. It had, J.C. Penney. It had
yeah.
shoe stores. It had all the stuff that you would need, for your normal life. And then you see all these toys and it's like, well, you have to go in. But I'd never get anything. So it was always disappointing. You'd always just like walk around and be like, nope, you're not really getting anything today.
No, if we went to like when I was a kid, if we went to a toy store, like it was a special occasion, and we were gonna walk out of there with something because like my parents weren't gonna put all that effort into driving us all that way, and then like not come back with at least something to show for it. But it was like maybe 3 or 4 times in my entire childhood that I went to an actual like box toy store.
Spoody, you got any memories in that brain of yours?
Anywhere past yesterday.
Even big box, just going to Walmart.
I remember going to
Kmart.
like Kmart and Pomida
There was a Pomida
yeah.
in Fairfield.
and Target when I was in somewhere.
I got a lot of stuff at Pomida.
But as a kid, yeah, not much. So as an adult, then, yeah.
I never really went into Kmart as a kid because my mom said it smelled.
She's not wrong.
It did.
It's poorly lit.
Yeah, she didn't.
Yeah.
She thought it was too ghetto
That's
for us to go to Kmart, so we always just went to Walmart because it was run down. Like I remember like going back there later, and it was
Walmart
like,
wasn't even that old of a thing when you were a kid.
I know.
When did the first Walmart open?
it was actually in the mall. The
Was
Walmart
it?
originally,
Oh, yeah.
the Walmart, and
Our
they
Walmart.
they moved like if you
There were a
you've
lot
been to
of-
Marshalltown, it's
that's
like they
like-
just moved it like not too far, and that was like
Yeah.
a big deal. That
a lot of Walmarts started out that way in
Yep.
malls. The Tum was that way too, and
it was a big deal that they moved, but they didn't move very far. They like moved 100 feet
right.
out of the mall into a new space.
Yeah, they stopped getting whatever break they were
Lease
getting
from the
from
lease,
being
yeah.
in the mall, and
And built a super Walmart.
yeah,
And then like Menards moved in there, and then it moved out, and then Hobby Lobby moved in, and so it was like, yeah, it was Kmart was on the other side of town. It was like on the south side, north side maybe.
do you remember
It
going
was-
to Ben Franklin?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We had one on Main Street.
I think Ben Franklin was probably like the closest thing that we had to not a chain,
Yeah.
because they're not like Ben Franklin was not a widespread thing. I think it was very, very centrally located Midwest.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And yeah, I remember going there,
right.
and they had like
Franklin.
super small toy section.
Yeah.
Yep.
But I remember going to them, and I mean, there was still a Ben Franklin in Ottumwa up until like the mid '90s, like on
Yeah.
Main Street across from.
Where Dollar General was.
Yeah, across from where Dollar General. Yeah, there was a Ben Franklin there, and I mean, it
River
basically
Hills
it transitioned from lots of things type of store into a craft store
Yeah.
over time.
Yep.
Like most Ben Franklins turned into craft stores.
Yep.
Did J.C. Penney have a small toy section?
J.C. Penney had the catalog
I
that
know they did,
everybody
but-
fucking drooled over. Like
Yeah.
you get the J.C. Penney catalog, and that toy section was like,
Maybe it's hours of looking at the catalog, but
Yeah.
my brain
I don't
feels
really
like
remember.
They
I'd
never
seen
really
a,
had-
a case,
had
a
stuff
glass
in
case
the
somewhere
store,
with
though.
some.
Anytime
Yeah.
I went down to JCPenney, it was to get school clothes.
Oh yeah.
So it wasn't like,
Yeah.
it was like, go try these on, buy them, and then we're
Yeah.
leaving.
See,
like that's it. Like it
the
wasn't
JC
wander around.
yeah. And the J.C. Penney's we had in Fairfield was a catalog store. Like you went in there to order things from the catalog.
Oh.
Like it was kind of like going to the FedEx store or whatever. Like you just,
Sure.
it saved you having to fill out all the paperwork and mail it in yourself, and instead they filled out the forms and then called it, and and then your stuff got delivered to the JCPenney store, and then you went and picked it up.
Those were the days.
Yeah.
I remember going into KB's to like play with like toy guns.
Yeah.
Like, because they had all these like machine guns that look like machine guns.
Yeah.
And they would
And
make
you pull the
noise.
trigger
Yeah.
and you go.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I remember like just like taking him off and like shooting my brother because why not,
Why wouldn't
Yeah.
you shoot your brother?
Exactly. And like, it's like, oh, this gun has like realistic sound or that type of thing. And it's,
Yeah, I had an M16 when I was a kid, and like, I'm pretty sure that it was basically, the same sort of mechanism as like clipping a baseball card to your bicycle.
yeah.
Like
Makes that
there was something in there, and
clattering
you
noise.
pull the trigger, and the wheel spins and hits the little flapper, and it genuinely did. Like, I remember being at my friend Andy Marner's house in Bentonsport. So there's
Shout
a
out.
tiny little hole in the wall, like little tiny shit town, and we were out wandering around in the woods behind his house, and I kept hearing this noise that sounded like my machine gun, and it was a woodpecker. Like just this little in the sound, and it sounded, and so every time I heard it, I'm like, "There's some other kid out here with the same machine." I'd fire back, and we were communicating, and yeah, it was a woodpecker.
Yeah.
And I'm stupid. I was a stupid kid. I was very stupid.
So glad you grew out of that.
I did not.
Since I have a lot of still on box or on card stuff, like I still see some with like the Kmart tag on there, and I'm like, oh, I kind of miss that smelly store.
It didn't help that they had a little Caesars inside, and the
Oh.
grease from that
That'll do it.
like
Gross.
permeated the store. The one in
Yeah.
Marshtown anyway did, and we were a Pizza Hut family and not a little
Oh.
Caesars family.
Right.
So it's like when
So it was either you guys ate the mainstream gross pizza, and
Yes.
then
it wasn't gross back then.
no, it wasn't. Pizza
It
Hut
was
was
so
good in the
good.
'80s.
So I can't. My memory sucks, and I hate it. But so the Williamsburg Mall, was there an actual KB in there, or was it just a store that kicked out?
It
those,
was
like-
more of a catalog type store.
The outlet mall.
Yeah,
the outlet
I remember
mall
that one. Now that you mentioned,
Because I
it,
know
yeah.
I went. I know I have tons of toys. I had receipts still in bags of
Yeah, I don't think it was. Yeah, it wasn't a big KB. It was like a smaller.
where they like an Ollie's or a
Yeah,
where they like sell the stock off and
Sure.
yeah.
yeah,
And I think
that had
it was
to be
probably.
what it was.
I think it was probably a catalog store too.
Yeah. Well, then there's the big one, the sad one. Toys R Us,
Which are starting to pop back up, like in little kiosks, basically.
there's kiosks in what's that? Macy's.
Macy's,
or-
yeah.
And then Canada still has
Yeah,
some.
sure.
but-
Because Canada's better.
Yes, they are. What
Canada has like
that
full on
Putin?
for real Toys R Us stores. Like they still
Yeah.
have like
Yeah.
big. Yeah.
Maybe it's just it seems so long ago, but like it's
Just the
I mean,
thought
it's-
of a whole store only toys.
Yeah.
It's like, did I dream this up? Is this was that real?
Yeah.
It was real, guys. Remember Toys R Us?
Oh man.
Do you have any
I
good
don't
stories?
because I never went.
You had never
I went
been
to
in one?
I went in one as an adult,
Yeah.
but
That's
not
what-
when I was a kid.
But barely, because like they closed
Yeah.
down 15 years ago or so was when they like the last ones like
Yeah, it was something maybe when Ethan was born. That would have been 10 years ago. There was one last one that we ended up like going into to look for something for him because he was going to
Yeah.
need something it was like, and I wasn't really collecting anything. So I was just like, we were really
Yeah.
actually just looking for something for a baby. So I wasn't even looking. So that's basically all of my Toys R Us experiences was going in there to look for infant stuff.
Well, I didn't think I was that much older than you guys, but maybe I just had been collecting longer, maybe. But I have a million times in Toys R Us stores. Like I just the last weekend driving around Des Moines with Michelle, I'd be like, oh, you know what that building used to be? And then I'd be
So,
like, you know what that
like-
building used to be?
Did you guys spend a lot of time like take a lot of trips to Des Moines when you were kids then or
No, and my Toys R Us memories are all adult.
oh okay.
I don't have any.
Oh, okay.
I can't imagine my brain if I'd have walked in as a kid.
Yeah.
Just a
Which
whole.
like my one memory of Toys R Us is pretty vivid because it's
Yeah.
the only time I was at, and it was in Des Moines and it was like I mean as far as my recollection as a probably 8 or 9 year old it was, the size of a super Walmart, and it probably
Yeah.
wasn't. It was
Yeah.
probably like the size of, it was probably like
Gas station.
Yeah, like the size of
It was large.
It
like
was,
they're
yes.
big, yeah, they're
Yeah.
definitely big, but it was not like super Walmart size. But when you're a kid and you walk into that many toys all at once, smacking you in the face, like it's like this goes on forever and ever and ever. And like I remember very vividly, like how the store was laid out, how to get to the GI Joe section,
Oh,
like
yeah.
everything, like.
Oh yeah.
I remember it really well, but it's like the one time when I was a kid going to a toy store or going to a Toys R Us, and so it doesn't get jumbled up with a bunch of other stuff. And yeah, it was pretty magical.
Yeah. Spoots, you got some Toys R Us?
I mean, that's pretty much why I started back with Transformers.
Yep.
Was when I lived in Iowa City,
Yep.
going up to Cedar Rapids to Toys R Us.
Mm-hmm.
Entirely too much. And then living in Cedar Rapids.
Then you're
Yeah.
like, I need to be closer.
Yeah.
to the
Toys R Us
R
still
Us.
open when you lived in Cedar Rapids?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, dang.
The first time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
The last time it wasn't.
Okay.
It was
So
twice.
many. I mean, I don't have a ton of specific memories because, as I mentioned, my memory sucks. But yeah, man, just when you find your aisle, it's like, there's so many. I didn't know there were this many
Overload,
toys.
yeah.
Oh my god, it really
They
was
had
amazing.
like Toys R Us had exclusives too, which are
Yes, they did.
like all the Night Force stuff, the GI Joe Night Force stuff, that was all Toys R Us exclusive.
Oh,
And I don't remember specifically any other lines, but I know the Night Force stuff was specifically Toys R Us. And I mean, there were a few other toys over the years that were Toys R Us exclusive things, but they were doing that back then too. Like there was Sears exclusives.
Toys R Us logo up there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
no,
there were
so
Sears
cool.
exclusives
Jazz
and Penny's
reissue
exclusives.
is actually the first one that I bought.
Yeah,
There's
yep.
all the
The Toys R Us
Yeah.
reissue line. Yep, Transformers.
Yeah, and
Ultraman,
the only other memory I have is when we were when She Swings was on tour and we were in New York and we went to the Times Square Toys R Us.
Dude,
And I was not collecting then, and it wasn't really even on my radar to collect anything other than like, these are cool. But they didn't have. It wouldn't have been that great for me because they didn't really like GI Joe wasn't really doing a whole lot in that time frame, especially like at the retail level. Like there just wasn't really a whole lot going on, and I probably wouldn't have really liked it anyway. Like I'm just not a big fan of the modern stuff, so. I remember it being very cool, and I remember there being a giant Ferris wheel.
3 floors
Yeah.
of toys.
Wow.
It's huge. It was huge, and it was awesome.
Yeah, from going from normal to a regular Toys R Us is
Yeah.
like going from a regular Toys R Us to
And it
this
was like fun watching you knock stuff off the shelf with your dick. And
I know. It was ridiculous. I know I was definitely, I mean, I think Armada was, the Unicron trilogy was kind of starting. I know that's when Alternators was big. I know I have somewhere, and I'll find it before the show, but they had a 1 or 2 floor size Optimus Prime statue there that I got my picture with. I know I have that.
yeah, I remember that.
Oh my gosh, and a Ferris wheel. The Times Square Toys R Us really was the mecca.
It was awesome. I wish that I had been like a collector back then, and that it would have meant more to me.
Yeah, it's just nuts to so just take like the best store you got now, but like then there's 5 of each of those things that you are looking at. Like each shelf was a figure. Like each row was one figure, not just 1 or 2 lined up straight. But no, the whole, it was unreal. I miss Jeffrey.
But like all that to say, like as adult collectors, like we've got it pretty good now
Sure.
because of all of the toy stores.
Because we grew up and started stores.
Yeah, we grew up and started stores, and there's so many like really good ones. I mean, we're now 56 episodes in, and we are not running out of toy stores to talk about.
Independent toy stores.
Independent toy stores, and some of them, there's a few that we've been to that are the size of a Toys R Us. Like there's some pretty big stores out there, and some of them that are like actually really reasonably priced and good collector spots that we've been to. And like I mean it's really sad that Toys R Us went, but it's also really awesome that it fed the desire for that part of the market to come back, and it came back with private store owners that are doing God's work.
Yeah, and another thing definitely with this episode, besides just going down memory lane, is for all of us to realize, take advantage of what you do have now. These stores will close. They all do. Like appreciate what you have.
Yeah, I mean, eventually
support those local independent businesses.
Eventually, the toys are going to run out.
That too. Spoody's going to buy them all.
They're not getting like this stuff is not getting any younger.
That's true.
Like this stuff is
only
all
a set amount of vintage.
this. Yeah, I mean, this is a 40-year-old toy. It's gonna break someday. It's gonna disintegrate. The plastic is gonna deteriorate enough that it just crumbles, and that's like these are not going to exist someday unless they're like graded and vacuum sealed, and even then the O-rings are going to break.
Yeah. Well, all right, let's take a quick break, and we're going to tell you all about our podcast network.
You're listening to the Prescribed Films Podcast Network, home to hundreds of hours of free podcast entertainment. The shows on this network all have a common goal, providing you with the best discussions about movies and other forms of entertainment media. The PFPN hopes to fill your earholes with audio joy. Visit our website with links to all the other amazing shows at www.thepfpn.com. Thanks for listening.
All right, we are back, and it's time to get in the van and go to those independent toy stores, and Elgin's going to take us there on a store tour.
All right, today's store we're going to is called KC Toy World and Collectibles. It's at 4112 Northeast Vivian Road in Kansas City, Missouri. Yes, that's another one in Kansas City to go to.
Yes, let's go.
Just saw this one recently. It has a bunch of G.I. Joe, Motu, Hot Wheels, Marvel DC, and also Kansas City Royals and Chiefs memorabilia.
Cool.
For all the fans of the two fans of those franchises.
Right.
But yeah, it looks like it's a pretty cool store there in Kansas City, Missouri, not Kansas City, Kansas. There's a difference, sort of.
And Google get your shit together, because the last time I was in Kansas City, I Googled toy stores in Kansas City, and nothing came up. Nothing. Literally nothing. The only thing that came up was, what are those, is it Vintage Stock?
Yep.
That has
Yeah,
games and like
Yes.
video games and records and comic, and then like a tiny little section of toys in the back where I have gotten stuff before,
Sure.
but like that is not what I'm looking for. And like maybe it does now, but when last time I was there in Google, like nothing came up.
Don't you work for Google? You should be like
Yeah,
getting that
no,
in the
that's why
search
my
engine.
wife does that. Something nerdy like that. I don't know. I don't pay attention to her life. I just spend her money.
Anyway, that's KC as in Kansas City, Toy World and Collectibles, 4112 Northeast Vivian Road, Kansas City, Missouri. Check it out.
All right.
And that's Vivian with an O, not Vivian with an A.
Yes.
Oh, interesting. Well,
Viv Ion.
I'm super excited to hear from you guys and all your toy store memories. So here's Corey with Talking Toys.
Hey, everybody!
Scared?
Hi there, everybody. So Chris Madison.
I know him.
Yeah, the Lego maniac, Chris Madison. He says Toys R Us was too far away to be part of my childhood. But in my 20s and 30s, I would make trips just for the Lego sets you couldn't find in any other store at the time. I also love to walk aisle after aisle of action figures and sometimes buy a few if I had any money left over after the Lego section, which would be hard to do if you have ever met Chris and have ever been privy to his Lego collection. It is quite vast, and he is quite good at Lego everything.
That picture he posted in the toy room was
3D picture.
And
Oh my
like,
God.
and he is like I would classify him as a master Lego builder. The guy
Sure.
is phenomenal. Like he can make
unreal.
anything. And it's just like the way his brain works. Like the way my brain works with Legos is
Can't wait.
here's the book.
Oh,
Like follow these instructions. Don't fuck them up because you're going to have to backtrack 6 steps. Ask me how I know.
so you don't?
Don't have to.
I'm not.
You've got
I'm
bags
not-
of Legos now.
I've got. My kids have. Well, they've got one of those like 3-drawer Tupperware type things that's like, I don't know, 24 to 30 inches wide by about 18 inches deep, and those 3 drawers are full of Legos, and then there's like a whole extra other drawer that's full of Legos up in they have a loft in their room, and that's all up there. They have a shit ton of and I mean nothing compared to Chris,
Sure.
but enough to do some really cool stuff. And my son and my wife are phenomenal, like the way their brains work
Just
and
sitting
putting,
down and making something.
yeah.
up.
And I can't do it. I'm too stupid. but they're really good. But I mean,
No,
yeah,
you're not, Corey.
Chris is like, yeah. Anyway,
Chris has one of those for like each type of Lego and each color.
yeah, and I'm guessing probably his Lego room is organized by color and shape and all that kind of stuff. And
Oh yeah.
it's pretty incredible. Like I know I'm wasting time here, but like I mean this has been years ago that I was hanging out with him, but like he took me into his room and his apartment when he was living with Spooty and a few other people in that tiny apartment. But he was like he was just like showing me some like models of the human body that he was making out of Legos, just like random. And I'm just like, this is fucking incredible. Like, dude, like this is awesome. Like, there's no way I could ever. Anyway, Ken Tomlin says, my favorite Toys R Us story happened a couple days after Christmas in 1986. My family took me to Toys R Us to spend money I had received for Christmas. I, of course, headed straight to the Joe aisle. An employee was opening a case of figures and hanging them on the peg hooks. Much to my amazement, these weren't figures from the 86 line, but all new figures from the 87 line. Needless to say, I bought all of them.
As you do.
In my old age addled brain of today, I don't remember if it was common for waves of next year's figures to show up like that in stores. I just remember being excited to see and get all new figures that I hadn't seen before. Besides that, I do remember our mall having a KB and a Circus World. late 70s and early 80s trips to the mall were a lot of fun for a kid. I don't remember Circus World at all. No. And I don't know. Ken is from like Central Illinois, I think, ish area.
Now,
It was when I posted the Talking Toys post. I found a picture of Circus World and along with Toys R Us
Yeah.
and KB Toys and FAO Schwartz. And,
I remember FAO Schwartz
and
commercials.
apparently, yeah, that was a very popular Circus World was a very popular toy store.
and do you have any insight on his question about new waves of Joes?
None at all.
Okay.
Sweet.
It doesn't really surprise me. I mean, that stuff still happens, but like,
Yeah, who knows?
yeah, who knows?
Boxes get left.
Yeah.
Boxes get opened early, put out early. You never know.
Let's see. Brian Clark says, KB was my store. I still vividly remember buying Transformers GoBots and in their later years, Trendmasters Godzilla figures. One time they had this huge bin out front full of VHS tapes that were my introduction to Gamera. I still have those tapes and most of the toys too. Nice one.
Awesome.
Jeremy Sample says, I have always had a love for G.I. Joe. Growing up, and Jeremy and I grew up together. Like, I think we first met in like
your first kiss?
second grade. Yeah. We learned, like, we skateboarded and we fruit booted together and like rollerblading with fruit boots. Yeah, we skated together a lot, but like he had a ton of G.I. Joes, and I remember like coming to his house in Ottumwa and like spending the weekend and stuff, and we just like play G.I. Joes all weekend, even when we were like 13, 14 years old. We were still playing with his G.I. Joes and like playing Mario Kart and shit in his basement. But anyway, yeah, I've always had a love for G.I. Joe. Growing up, I got an allowance of $3 or $4 a week for doing chores. We had a Places store in my hometown. Every Saturday, I would go to Places and buy a G.I. Joe. Some of the best memories. And I forgot to mention that because like Elgin said something about not getting an allowance and made me feel bad that I did.
I had an allowance, it just wasn't a
Yeah.
lot.
So like mine was $2 a week, I think. I got like $2 a week.
Bragger.
And so I had to actually save my money, and I couldn't go buy a G.I. Joe every week. It had to be every other week. But like I remember like going to Kmart with my mom every other week, and I had my $4, and a G.I. Joe was $3.29 plus tax, and so I had enough to buy a new one.
Spoody and I would just get a warm meal
Yeah.
that once a week.
Yeah.
It's our allowance.
Yeah. I mean that's you know that's
Like a
important. That's important. You know?
But only one of us.
Not because you couldn't afford it. It's
We
because your
had to
parents didn't
alternate.
love you.
Every week.
I know. Spoody has definitely missed some meals in his. Oh, that was a dick move. Let's see.
What your mom said.
Yeah.
Oh, that was good. Made up for it. Good job.
Let's see. Such heroic nonsense photos.
Yep.
Do we know who that is?
Yep.
Okay, who's that? Because I don't
It's
think.
on Instagram,
Yeah. He's,
Yeah.
Transformer guy.
We don't have a name for such heroic nonsense photos. That's what I
I
was
do
wondering.
know
Oh.
it. He's
Okay.
yeah, message with him. Yeah.
Okay. Well, he said, loved picking up toys at Hills, Ames, and Jamestown when I was younger. I'm assuming at some of those toy stores that we've mentioned. Yeah.
Sure.
Hey, thanks for all those comments. It's a lot of good walks down memory lane. And the end.
Okay, well, before we go, I just want to quickly mention that if you want to help support this little independent podcast and like what you hear and you want to hear some more and be part of the show a little bit, you can do that at patreon.com/cracktasticplastic. There's some perks there, and you can sign up and help support the show. And I would like to get one of those things is like a shout out on the show, and so I'd like to do that now for those who have signed up. We got Tony Miller, Chris Turnip Simmons,
Tony Baloney.
Peter Glinsman, and Alex LaForest.
Peter
Thank you
Beanie
guys
Baby Glinsman.
for being a patron. We really appreciate it. All right. Well,
Hey, good talk.
Good talk. We'll see you out there. We need to plan our next toy store trip.
Yeah.
Hashtag
I think it needs to be down south to Peddler's Post.
Peddler's Post Day. Hey, thanks for watching and listening, everybody. We'll talk to you later.
Later.
tiddlers.
Thank you for listening to the Cracktastic Plastic Podcast. But not so fast, my foul fiends. Don't forget to follow these fools on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And visit cracktasticplastic.com. I'll be back.
You're still here? Well, why don't you take a second and head on over to our Patreon page and consider supporting our independent podcast. You get access to episodes early, shout-outs on the show, and be part of our exclusive chat. So be sure to visit patreon.com/cracktasticplastic.